Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. Well, as you may know, I am new to the YouTube world, making videos and so forth, but I'm not new to motorcycles and camping. I've had motorcycles since 1972, my first one, and no, 75, I'm sorry, 75. Still a long time. In camping, I've been camping for about 8 or 10 years, motorcycle camping. So I'd like to share some thoughts that I have on some tips I have that I've learned over the years, and I'll be sharing those with you shortly. Welcome back to the channel. Okay, so as I said, I'm new to the YouTube world, but I'm not new to motorcycles and camping, so I'd like to share a few tips. I think I have 10 tips to share here that I've learned over the years. The first one is when you go camping and you're looking for a spot for your tent, make sure it's nice and level. If you can't get a level, you want to make sure it's close to level. And then of course you want to kick all the pine cones and rocks and all that around, because those can puncture your tent, and that's not going to be good when it rains. So that's my first tip. Find a nice good level spot for your tent and then set it up. The second tip, after you've been riding possibly for a long distance with your motorcycle gear, your boots and everything, you might want to bring along some comfy clothes, and for sure some comfortable shoes. I got some Vans. I'm sure you can find them anywhere. It doesn't matter about the brand, but they're easy, they slip on, they're comfortable, you can walk around, they're cool. Usually you camp in the summertime when it's hot, so you want something cool on your feet. So that's my second tip, get a nice pair of comfy shoes. The next thing has to do with mosquitoes. A lot of times you get to a spot and they don't allow fires. Campfires seem to be a natural deterrent to mosquitoes and bugs in general. Sometimes you can't build a campfire though, so what do? Well, I found these coils. They're like, you light them on fire and then they burn slowly. They give off an odor and a smoke. And you can't notice it, it's odorless to campers, but you can just set it on your picnic table or what have you, and it will keep the bugs away. That's probably the best thing that's ever worked. I mean, you can douse yourself with bug spray and stuff and smell, and sometimes your skin gets a little itchy because of that. But I would recommend these coils. They work the best. That's what I found. Next tip. Have about a gallon of water at least. If you're going to be gone for a day, a gallon a day. If you're going to get to a spot where you don't have potable water and you have to filter the water, or maybe you just don't have water. There's plenty of camping spots around, but they just don't have access to water. And you may have discovered that you didn't bring enough. I would say a gallon is generally at least as much as you would need. So I bring mine. I have 2 really large containers. They hold about 50 ounces each, and then 2 other thermos containers which I will fill with water. So that's plenty. That sums up to way over a gallon, and it's generally been enough for me over the years. Next thing, before you leave, you want to check your bike over really, really good. Check your tire pressure. Check your tire pressure on a regular basis, because if your tires are losing air gradually, at least you'll know the rate and you'll know how often you should check them and fill them again. It'd be good to make sure you find out the source of the leak if you have a leak, but and if you don't, it's nice to have that assurance that your tires are well pressured and they're ready for the trip. And if your bike has coolant, KLRs have coolant, a lot of other adventure bikes have coolant. Check it, make sure it's okay. As a practice over the years, I've always changed my oil at least once a year and the coolant once a year. Just during the winter time when there's not much to do, just change it. Just change it out. have that assurance that when you start most of your riding in the spring and summer that your bike will be ready. Okay, the next tip, keep a camping list. My camping list changes after every trip. I'll discover things that I should have brought and things that I brought that I don't need, and things that I wish I had. So I have a camping list and I just kind of keep it on the computer. I print it out for every trip, and then I go through. I check, have things that I check that's on the list, things that I bring, things that I want to bring. And depending on the trip, you know, if it's just an overnighter, I won't bring as much as if I were going for several nights. So the camping list is kind of crucial. It just kind of keeps those things in front of your face, and that way you have everything there. And chances of you forgetting something are pretty slim. All right, the next tip. You know, a lot of people, and I'm guilty of this too, is sometimes you think that, well, okay, I'm going to jump into this camping motorcycle thing. I'm going to get the best bike, I'm going to get the best gear, I'm going to get the best tent, because these YouTube channels, they recommend this, they recommend that. And pretty soon you've racked up over $1,000 worth of stuff. And then you go camping and you think, you know, this flat sucks. I don't really like this. This tent they recommend is too small. Or this gear is great and everything, but it's just too itchy. It doesn't fit me right. It's not comfortable. So I would just recommend go low budget at first. You know, I bought a tent at Walmart and I still have it. I still use it today. It's just held up. I don't know why. I think it cost me $30 back then, back in the day. I think they're a little bit more now. But do what you will. I tend to go cheap first, and then as time goes on, if I want to upgrade, I will, if I think it's necessary. Most of the time, I don't think it's necessary. But there's a lot of vendors out there who have really good products. So I don't doubt that they're really good and they're superior in so many different ways. But so far, I haven't had a need for a lot of that stuff. All right, next tip. When you pack up your tent, I've seen a lot of people just take their tents down and they just stuff them. They stuff them into a stuff sack. Some tents you might be able to do that, but I have found that over the years doing that, sometimes it causes creases and compromises in areas of your tent that aren't good. So they start letting water in. Your seams start to get a little weak in certain areas. So what I've tried to do is, after every camping trip, I will fold up my tent nice and neat and make sure that all the grease and grime and leaves and rocks and any other things are just out of the tent before I fold it up. And make sure it's nice and dry too. If it's not, then you need to certainly air it out, because mold can form, and that's not good either. So be meticulous. Fold up your tent nice and neat and then put it in your stuff sack. Now, other things you can stuff in. Sleeping bags, I've never had a problem stuffing those into a bag. And other things, they're fine. But for some reason, tents sometimes can be a little touchy on that. So you want it to last as long as possible. Next tip. I always like to know my route ahead of time. I've seen people use GPS, Garmin's, and all that. And if you're going to go out to some backcountry where the roads are a little bit iffy, yeah, you want to have a tool like that, because you can get lost. And sometimes maps, and I've had this happen to me before. Rick and I were on a backcountry discovery route, and we had a map and everything, and we calculated that, you know, it's so many feet we should have a right turn, or so many feet there should be a left turn, there should be a bluff here, there should have this or that. So the map wasn't exactly right on. So we did have other GPS tools available, and we were able to figure it out. But ultimately, though, it's nice to have a really good idea of where you're going before you even leave. So what I do is I sit down with Google Maps, and I will write down some directions in cases where there might be a question as to which way to go. Anyway, it just helps. And I don't really use directional tools, a phone, or GPS as I'm riding. This is just me personally. I just think it's dangerous to constantly looking down, looking up, look down, look up, look down, and trying to figure out where you're going. If you know in your head where you're going, you're looking for the next stop. Like in about 3 miles, I should see a sign for this turn off, and then take your turn. So if you know ahead of time where you're going, you'll have a feel. And if you don't, stop, look at a map or whatever, but constantly looking down and looking up, I just don't recommend it. I just think it's inviting trouble, especially when there's critters that can run out in front of you, there's traffic, who knows what. Anyway, that's my spiel. One last thing, I would recommend watching other YouTube channels. I watch other YouTube channels all the time. Sterling Noren, he just sets the bar. He has got one of the best channels out there. Northwest Motorcycles, Northwest ADV, Forrest Johnson, really good channel. As I mentioned earlier videos, Jeremy Rives, I watch his videos over and over again. Others, Dork on the Road, Amanda Zitto, she's over in Nepal right now, but she goes all over the place. Her and brother, they've got some really good ones. Anyway, those are just a few. There's so many of these out there, and but I would recommend watching them, because I always pick up something new. Like, that's a good idea, or wow, they're doing that, I wouldn't do that, or whatever. It's all up to you. It's your bike, it's your vision, it's your trip, your adventure. Do it what's best for you. Anyway, I hope these tips have been helpful. See you next time.